I'm Kevin Rivera, and I will be refuting the claim that illegal immigration has a positive effect on the United States. The advocate has two supporting claims, the first being undocumented immigrants benefit our economy, and the second and final support claim being that the role of unauthorized workers in the U.S. has and continues to have a positive impact on our country. I will be refuting both these claims in order. So, in the first claim, undocumented immigrants benefit our economy. The advocate does not provide any solid evidence to support their claim. One of the two pieces of evidence that the advocate uses is that there are 24.7 million foreign-born persons in the workforce, which make up roughly about 17.1% of the total workforce. The advocate also admits that they don't know how many of those 27.1 million are undocumented, which makes this statistic pretty empty and has no substance or function, and does not provide anything to show how undocumented workers benefit the economy. The second of the two evidence that the advocate provides actually helps support my counterclaim, which is that our economy benefits undocumented immigrants and not the other way around. The advocate's reasoning for why undocumented immigrants benefit the economy is based on the inference that the population of unauthorized immigrants directly affects the economy. So the more undocumented immigrants, the better the economy. The less undocumented immigrants, the worse. The advocate's evidence states that about 1 million undocumented immigrants left in 2009, dropping from 11.6 in 2008 to 10.8 million in 2009. And then goes on to state that in 2010, when the economy began to improve, so did the amount of undocumented immigrants. It would continue to increase and went back to 11.6 million in 2014, and currently is around 12.1 million. But this shows nothing about how they actually benefit the economy. 2008 was a hard year for everyone in the US, and I have a quote from the New York Times to sum it up. US employers shed 2.6 million jobs in 2008, the worst since 1945. The government reported Friday, and a rapidly deteriorating economy promises more significant losses ahead. So obviously many undocumented workers decided to leave. The economy is going down the drain and does not provide any opportunities or benefits to them. So why should they stay? Now, 2010 is when the population of undocumented immigrants began to rise, according to the advocate's evidence, and it's no coincidence that job opportunities began to rise as well. According to the New Yorker, a newspaper, since the start of 2010, the U.S. economy has created about 2.4 billion jobs per year. I'm not questioning the evidence, statistics, or validity. I question the reasoning. Neither of the two pieces of evidence support how undocumented immigrants benefit the economy. The advocate's evidence for their inference on population and how it affects the economy is actually more reflective on opportunity in the United States. And because of that, it shows how undocumented immigrants are able to benefit off our economy and take advantage of opportunities when they arise and leave when opportunities are sparse. Point being that undocumented immigrants benefit from our economic opportunities more than we benefit from them being here and working. The advocate's second and final claim is that the role of unauthorized workers in the U.S. has and continues to have a positive impact on our country. My counterclaim is that the role of unauthorized workers in the U.S. is one of exploitation and negatively impacts those who need it most financially. The advocate states that many undocumented workers take on hard labor jobs that many lawful workers refuse to take, and further supports this point by providing statistics that undocumented workers outnumber lawful workers by 3% in agriculture and 6% in construction. Yes, undocumented workers are more likely to take on harder jobs, but they are also exploited and forced to take on lower wages. Travis Hill from the Texas Tribune interviewed an undocumented immigrant worker that goes by the name Chuncho, and he's quoted stating, "We realize that employers prefer us for being undocumented because we just keep our heads down to get jobs. We can't afford to complain, and they take advantage of us being undocumented." This isn't just an isolated case. Yes, his interview was through his point of view, but he never once said I. He always said we or us. This does not only affect illegal immigrants, but any lawful worker who competes with an undocumented worker for a job. To further my point, I would quote George Borjas, who explained in his research in a Politico piece, the typical high school dropout earns about $25,000 annually. According to census data, illegal immigrants admitted in the past 2 decades lacking a high school diploma have increased the size of the low-skilled workforce by roughly 25%. As a result, the earnings of this particularly vulnerable group drop between $800 to $1,500 each year. So not only are they losing opportunity to work, but they're also losing money. So when people say that illegal immigration benefits the economy, what they are really saying is that it makes the rich richer and the poor poorer. This happens because of exploitation of undocumented workers allows for the wealth to be distributed from those who compete with the undocumented workers to those who use undocumented workers. These workers can't say much because even if they are getting paid less than the minimum wage in the US, it is still much more than what they would make in their own countries. So just as long as they get paid, they're not going to leave because they're being exploited. But this directly affects the lower class workers because they are the group that needs the most help financially, and yet they're getting stripped of job opportunities and their pay decreasing, putting them in a worse financial situation.